Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here to answer another frequently asked question. It's one I've actually answered before, but I want to do an update on it, and this is about how to manage those fruit flies that seem to come out of nowhere when you start getting into making vinegar and wine, especially in the fall. That's when they really start to get heavy, at least for us. And first, I'm going to start by bringing up what I talked about in the old video. There's several different really cheap methods you can use. It's more about just trying to maintain and keep their numbers down. And some people will simply do something like putting some vinegar, be it homemade or otherwise, into a small dish with a squirt of dish soap. And what that will do is the vinegar will draw the fruit flies to it, and then the soap will hold them in there and they'll drown. And my method that I used in my old video is one that I really like, but it does require using some plastic wrap, but I find it really effective, and that is to put like a piece of banana or some really ripe fruit, piece of apple, peach, it doesn't matter, just any kind of very ripe fruit or vegetable like tomatoes, anything you know that really draws those fruit flies in, and stick it in a jar. You can even put a little bit of vinegar at the bottom as well, and just a little bit. You want something that they're going to want to get in there and climb all over and just enjoy themselves. And then you put a piece of plastic wrap over the top of the jar. I usually double the plastic over, and then I'll poke a few holes just big enough for the fruit flies to get in there, and then also put a rubber band so it's very tightly around the outside. Now they'll get in there and they'll have a good time, and I usually just let it sit for a few days until it builds up and there's a lot of flies in there. Yeah, some will come out and go back in, but mostly they'll just stay in there and enjoy themselves. And then what you do is you immediately take it over to the sink, rinse it out really good, and wash those things down the sink, and then start all over with another piece of fruit and a little bit of vinegar. Usually it's something solid for them to climb around on is important. And then you can either put that same plastic wrap over the top, or you can just get a new piece and do that. That's been a really effective way for me to keep the fruit fly population down. That's very natural and non-toxic. You don't have to use any kind of toxic sprays or whatever. But the new thing that I've been doing, and this actually I didn't purchase for the sake of fruit flies, I didn't even think of it at the time, but more for the sake of those really annoying small house flies. They're actually called the lesser house fly, and those are the ones that will come in and they'll fly in angular patterns right in the middle of a room, and usually there'll be a bunch of them. Those are the ones that annoy me more than anything else, because sometimes they'll just suddenly out of the blue get aggressive and start flying straight at your face, and they're just annoying anyway. And so I got myself one of these little electronic guys. Definitely a lot better than the old-fashioned electric fly swatters they first started coming out with. I'll link to this one below, but when I just looked, it was currently out of stock. So even though I'll link to this one just in case it's back in stock by the time you see this, I'll also put a search for other similar items like this. So you just keep it charged up. It's got a rechargeable battery in it, and then a charging cord that goes with it, which is just a mini USB, so it's the same cord you use to charge a whole bunch of different items. And obviously you just want to leave it in the off position. But once you have this in the on position, it's not going to hurt you. It's still better to keep it off, but it's not until you press and hold this little power button here, and what you'll see is a little red light come on. You see that right there? That little red light comes on. That lets you know it's active. Now, I've not tried touching it when it's active, and I don't know how powerful it is, because I've seen how well it works on flies. Those little lesser house flies, it's actually really kind of fun. The day this arrived, I had several of those in the house. I pulled this out and immediately went to work, and it was snap, snap, and I was surprised at how loud it was, but it really just disintegrates those things. Now, it doesn't work as well on the larger house flies. You can still get them, but sometimes it can take several zaps. But this works great for the lesser house fly. And then when the fruit flies started coming around, because I had some vinegar here and now I've got the wine going, and I see some fruit flies over here right now, I started using this on that. Now, if you're using it in a place like the kitchen, just keep in mind you might want to keep all your food items covered and then wipe things down when you're done using it, because I'm sure those little tiny fried fly pieces are going somewhere. But anyway, let's see if I can get one so I can show you how well it works. Don't have a whole lot in here right now because I've been keeping their numbers down, and that's the important thing. And actually I've been doing better at using this to be able to keep their numbers down than the old fruit fly trap that I was using. So then the other thing I also got at the same time of this was I wanted something that I could just have on all the time. And so it's a similar idea, but it's just one of those little fly zappers that I keep in the house. I'll go ahead and link to that one down below. And here's what it looks like right here. And that's also been very helpful because that'll attract the house flies, the moths, the crane flies, the fruit flies, the lesser house flies, just about anything that's annoying like that. And it's just zap, zap, zap. And obviously now that we're starting to get in cooler weather, we're not having as many of those. The main issue right now has mostly been the fruit flies, because that's the one thing that tends to stick around farther into the cold season. So that's how I've been keeping the fruit fly population down. And I tell you what, this is actually pretty fun. And I'll come in here when I had the vinegar going about a month ago. That's when I was really having a lot of fruit flies. And so I'd come in here a few times a day and just start zapping flies. And when they start to develop again, I'd shoo them off of there and zap them again. And it was really kind of fun and stress relieving. And it can even be a good source of exercise. But anyway, those are just a couple of ways. And if you have some favorite methods of making fruit fly traps or whatever to help keep the pest population down that are a little more natural, you don't have to worry about toxic insecticides, go ahead and share your ideas with us down below, even if it's on other types of pests like ants and so on. And if you're interested to answers to more frequently asked questions that I get, I'll be posting that whole playlist in the description box down below. Don't forget to click on either show more right down here below my channel name if you're on a PC, or that little gray arrow right over here if you're on a smart device, just below the screen right here. And that will open up the description box so you can not only see those links I'll be putting, but our contact information and so on. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.